Our love is bigger than the strongest of arguments. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We won't believe what we're told to believe in. We are the ones we've been waiting for.
So tonight, this is a teach-in. For those of you who don't know, at rallies, at protests, they're not hollow. They are meaningful. Just having you come here, having you in public show up, having other people see you there is more meaningful to other people as it is to you. Because not everybody could make it out tonight. But they need to know somebody else is carrying the torch. That somebody else has the light. Somebody else is carrying the water this time. Okay? And there's times we can show up, and there's other times we just got to sit on the sidelines and take a rest. Take a break. Take a breather. Because this is a marathon, not a sprint. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And we need to be in it for the long haul.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. This is amazing. Thank you. Just so you know, the 3.5%, that's a brainchild of Shalom. If 3.5% of the population resists tyranny, it cannot hold. Okay? So let people know that. And we have that kind of turnout. There's, as Amos said, you can have speakers, the movie. If you want to continue the conversation afterwards, we're having a meeting this Sunday at the Home of Truth, 3 p.m. Please join us. Also, I think a lot of you know the Dublin protest, the big Dublin protest, is this Saturday. We have information on our website, All Rise Alameda. Please come. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lily Wiedla. My pronouns are they, them, and I am the student co-chair of the Alameda Unified School District's LGBTQ+ Roundtable. We are an organization that meets once a month to unite queer people on the issues that we face in the school district, especially trans kids, and once a year we meet with the superintendent to discuss necessary changes. Some of these issues are things like data security through Aries, making sure that teachers respect student identities, and various other things. Groups like the Roundtable are so incredibly important in educating teachers, students, and family members against the issues that we face as queer people and the constant growing set of laws against us. It also unites us against these unjust laws. We have a strong community, and we help to keep trans and queer kids in AUSD safe and represented. Yay! I recognize many of you from the last No Kings rally, where I also spoke. You may not recognize me because I got a lot of makeup on, but you might be wondering why I return, why this issue is so important to me. It's because I am out of time. My community and myself as a transgender person have become one of the big targets of the Trump administration. It is now much harder for me to receive proper medical care, to vote, to feel safe in public spaces, especially my own school. I have been the target of constant harassment and discrimination from my peers and my teachers. I encourage anybody who cares about the safety and rights of queer and trans kids to join the LGBTQ Roundtable. I'll have a sign up. I don't have a sign actually. I have a sign up. I do have a sign up. Sorry, can't read. So you may have noticed that the theme of the protest is civil disobedience or making good trouble. You might recognize these words, but do you embody them?
Yes. Hell yeah.
Civil disobedience is the peaceful rejection of unfair treatment or laws. It is a part of almost every impactful political movement, especially when fighting an oppressor, such as a tyrannical government or a king. It was used in 1773 against King George during the Boston Tea Party, and in 1930 against the British colonizers in India during the Salt Marches. And again, it was used in 1966 by the Black Panther Party when they armed themselves against police brutality. All of these movements made radical, positive change and paved the way for future generations, which proves that civil disobedience isn't just effective, but necessary when standing up to this level of oppression and xenophobia. These issues don't just stop at trans people, though. I can promise that every single person in this room has been impacted by an unfair, discriminatory law made by the Trump administration. If you have ever changed your name, if you are married, if you are queer, if you are Black, if you are Asian, if you are Hispanic, disabled, if you have mental health issues, if you're below the poverty line, if you're unhoused, hell, if you pay taxes, we are all out of time, so we must create time. It is imperative that you organize now, that you get involved and fight back now. You must be the first person to step forward to block ICE from kidnapping more civilians. You must be the first person to speak up for Palestine and denounce the genocide happening there. You must help keep our community safe, or else we will have no community at all, just like I am, like all of us are. I know that democracy does not end here, and we cannot do it alone. Thank you.
And Adamson, president of the Civics Club at Alameda High School, very involved in her community, also engaged in climate action and a member of 350 Bay Area. Anaya.
I heard somewhere. The interesting thing about capitalism is that it's entirely incompatible with the future. So we've just decided to get rid of the future and keep capitalism for a short while. That's the family system that the Big Beautiful Bill is protecting, as it's the largest transfer of wealth to the rich in American history. My name is Anaya Adamson. I am a president of the Youth Civic Action Club at Alameda High School. And at our club, we have meetings to discuss issues in our community and the most effective ways to solve them. Many of these issues revolve around economic disparity, racism, and climate change. We do this by raising donations to local organizations through fundraisers and volunteering opportunities. Our goal is to cultivate a stronger youth political presence in Alameda to act against injustice. However, my future and everyone's in this room is being choked by policies the Trump administration is pushing. The Big Beautiful Bill cuts food stamps and environmental policies. It restricts access to student loans and Medicaid. It deepens the economic burden already felt with overpriced groceries, $5 laundry loads, and rising rent. Then they're pushing their white nationalist narrative to every listening ear and conducting mass deportations. They increased the ICE budget by over $170 billion, making it larger than both the FBI and DEA. They are kidnapping people, detaining them, and separating them from their families. ICE is in our neighborhood. They have been on Park Street multiple times. They are in Alameda. ICE, they're building more detention facilities that are purposefully being made to be overcrowded with gruesome living conditions and created in uninhabitable areas like Alligator Alcatraz. This is all done without due process. This is all done to develop Stephen Miller's wet dream of America with only 100 million Americans, all of which are white. Even though these decisions are made in the White House and seem far away, the effects aren't distant. These issues affect your neighbor, your family, and you. And by now, it's clear that the establishment Democrats cannot defend us from these policies that further our descent into fascism. Their interests are far too intertwined with those of the wealthy. And as 2/3 of the wealth have gone to the top 1% since 2020, they have done little for people in a time of growing and intense economic disparity. These are the same people funded by AIPAC in order to maintain Zionist interests. These are the same people funded by billionaires since large corporate campaign donations are permitted, allowing billionaires to funnel millions into their campaign of choice. We are not living in a democracy if our leaders are being handpicked by the rich. And without any true resistance from the Democrats or Republicans, the rich can utilize their authoritarian power to its fullest extent. It's now more significant than ever to practice civil disobedience and consistently organize against an institution that fails to defend us. We cannot rely on Democrats in Washington, but we can rely on our neighbors and be a shoulder for those around us to lean on. We have the solutions, we have the momentum, but we need to strengthen our community and act. This is our strongest defense. I urge everyone who is able to join an organization and engage with your community. Join Youth Civic Action or urge an Alameda High student to. Always feel free to talk to me about joining. Thank you and have a good night.
Hi everyone, thank you for being here and thank you for having me. Like Mr. White just said, my name is Sean Kogagin and I'm leading the Civic Education Committee of the League of Women's Voters, Alameda. With me, I have two of my committee members, Ella Edgelow and Isla Vasali. I wanted to begin tonight with a few pages from a picture book called I Voted, Making a Choice Makes a Difference by Mark Schulman. It begins, which do you like better? Apples or oranges? Markers or crayons? Trampolines or swimming pools? Some choices are easy to make. Ice cream or onions? Some choices are harder to make. Ice cream or cupcakes? Anytime you choose one thing instead of another, you can say that you voted for it. When you're only voting for one thing, you tend to get what you want. But people usually vote together. Imagine you're choosing a classroom pet. Everyone will be voting. And the pet you'll all get is the pet that the most people voted for, even if it isn't the one you wanted. So if you want your choice to win, here's what you can do before everyone votes. As John Lewis taught us, democracy is not a state, it's an act. And acts of democracy, whether marching for rights or simply raising a hand in class to share your view, starts with understanding.
In Alameda, most students don't take government until their final year of high school. We believe that that is too late. That's why our Civic Education Committee is trying something different. We're starting younger, reading books to elementary kids to plant seeds of civic curiosity early.
Books like I Voted make complex ideas simple and accessible. If we can spark even one question or one conversation, that's the beginning of something powerful.
This Saturday, July 19th at 1:30 p.m., we're holding our first community story time at Books Inc., which is just down the street. If you have any younger siblings, kids, neighbors, or anyone around that you know around the ages 6 to 10 years old, please bring them. If you want to get involved, my flyer is in the lobby, so you can go grab it at the League of Women's Voters table. I love your book suggestions or helping starting similar readings in other communities. Thank you. Let's make good trouble together, starting with the story time.
Hello, my name is Rowan Burns-Arno. I'm a high school student here in Alameda. The scarf I am wearing around my neck is called a keffiyeh. Maybe you've never seen them before or don't know any of the meaning behind them. Maybe you recognize them from pro-Palestinian protests, or you've seen in your life or on the news. Or maybe you know their long history as a symbol of solidarity with Palestine and the genocide that they are facing. Because it is a genocide. At least 60,000 people have been murdered. That number is likely far higher. The vast majority of those are women and children. It is a genocide. The Minister of National Security of Israel said that they are fighting human animals. The Deputy Speaker of Israel's parliament gleefully said Israel's goal is to erase Gaza from the Gaza Strip from the face of the earth. Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, said his goal is to conquer Gaza and expel its residents. It is a genocide. It has been going on for over 78 years. In 1948, 750,000 Palestinians, half the population at the time, were expelled from their land in the exact same way that indigenous people in America or the Aboriginal people of Australia or any other colonized group has been expelled. Israel is overtly a settler colonial project. which is why the genocide is being committed. You cannot colonize people by getting rid of the people that live on their land and destroying their culture. It's the same reason that Palestinians are second-class citizens in Israel. Israel's actions after October 7 are not something new. It is the same pattern that's been going on since as long as we have all been alive. The genocide and colonization is only possible with America's support. In the last 2 years, the United States has spent over $20 billion for military aid to Israel. Our tax dollars are funding. They are responsible for this. We are paying for a genocide in Palestine instead of good schools or well-maintained streets. You should struggle with that in your sleep if you know that your money is funding a genocide and you don't care. We are all implicated unless we take a stand, and I know it can seem overwhelming and hopeless, especially considering that every single administration, Republican or Democratic, has supported Israel's genocide without opposition. But there are things we can do. We must start at the local level. In December, the Alameda County Board of Supervisors voted yes. I do not hate Israel. This is about democracy. Because democracy is about opposing genocide. Democracy is about fighting for people's rights. I want to challenge you and to see how Palestine is connected to every other issue. We need to fund our weapons shipments to Israel and our grossly large military budget so we can fund our communities. We need to stop training our cops with the Israeli military because they both have long histories of brutalizing innocent people. Because we deserve to make our voices heard. Because all these issues are connected. And because it is a genocide. We don't have time to weed. We don't have the luxury to expect other people to do this. Because it is a genocide. And unless we take a stand now, we are responsible. There is blood in our hands, and being silent is being complicit. It is a genocide. If you are not involved, please get involved. Because if you get involved, you can't stop it. Thank you.
Democracy. It's more than a word. It's not my word. It's not his word. But it's something we all are here, not just for, but to fight to protect. It's not a matter of like it, love it, or lump it. I really do despise the word experiment when people refer to what this country has built. My people, my kid's gonna get me here. My people were the first peoples here. My other peoples were brought here. We weren't immigrants, forcibly. But what we've come to know, what we, as people of color, as this person of color, has come to know, that as we let go of the idea, the ideals, those rights to free speech, to freedom of assembly, I can't thank enough this theater for opening its doors to this Alameda. Because this is what democracy looks like at its best. Next, we're going to hear from Mr. Charles Reed. Mr. Reed is speaking, as I said, with Third Act, San Francisco Bay Area. He represents and is a member of, or leads Lifers Leaving a Legacy, Mr. Charles Reed. Floor mic, please.
I am the founding director of Lifers Leaving a Legacy. And when we talk about democracy, I can honestly say if you all look around, I feel like a fly in a bowl of oatmeal. And I said that for a specific purpose, that democracy is about everybody having the right to voice their opinion. And even though it may be contrary to your own beliefs or opinions, they still have that right. So if you don't want to hear it, cover your ears. But at least respect that person's right to have their own opinion and be strong and courageous enough to voice it. I'm here representing the people that are not here. I'm from Oakland, California. Born and raised in the hood. 31 years of time. Whoa, I heard crickets on that one. 31 years of prison time. And I came home 240-something pounds, and look at me now. I am crippled. Because I am crippled from being able to do the things I used to do. And if I want to say that I am crippled, allow me to say that. And give me the grace that I can embrace my own imperfections in the way I choose to. That's what democracy is about. That's what the melting pot is about. It's not saying you gotta think like me and act like me in order to fit in. It's saying that who you are, you can fit in. 31 years of prison time, I came home and I saw a city I didn't believe. It had lost its self-esteem because of the crack era, because of police brutality, because of disinvestment, because of the prison industrial complex. But I came home and I didn't embrace the gift that I was given until God sat my butt down after that accident. And he told me that I had a 3% chance of walking again. But I didn't believe God put me through, allowed me to survive 31 years in prison and to have my neck broken in 4 places so that I'll never walk again. As y'all can see, I'm walking again. What I'm saying is that you have to believe in things bigger than yourself. Democracy and this principle, what this country was built on, and I'm not talking about the slavery part. I'm talking about the emancipation part. That we all have to embrace our emancipation and never allow for a state to tell us how to act, what to think, what to believe in, and we know it's all damn lies. Me and Third Act, every month, and I'm gonna say this straight up, and y'all can say what you want to, but these old white ladies right here been having my back. Every month, we are at the parole department registering returning family members. And that's what I consider myself. I do not consider myself formerly incarcerated because that was a condition that I suffered from, not who I am. I was born a family member, I did time as a family member, I came home as a family member. So I choose to look at myself and define myself in a term that demands decency and dignity. And so for all of us returning family members, I am here to thank Third Act for being there with us every single month. But I want you to think about something, because 2026 is going to be the last chance we ever had to flip that House and Senate. And let me say this, I wouldn't care if it was a black person that voted. I wouldn't care if it was a queer person that voted. I wouldn't care if it was a returning family member that voted. I do not care if it was a racist that voted, as long as he voted to get his butt out of there. We need to change that House and we need to change that Senate, because that's the only way that we are going to be able to prevent him from doing what he's doing. And when I say him, I'm talking about Diaper Boy. And I call him Diaper Boy because you know misery loves company. And since he can't stop shitting on himself, he shit on everybody else. And so I just want to sit here and thank you for welcoming somebody like me from East Oakland, California, a former lifer, and my organization is called Lifers Leaving a Legacy. And it's not only for those who serve time in prison, it's for all of you, especially you youngsters, because as long as you live it, you doing life, but only if you fighting for it. And as long as you fighting for it, you can come join Lifers. www.liferlegacy.org. Check us out. We out there. We outside, y'all.
Charles Reed. Thank you. My name is Michael Yoshi, pronouns he, him. I am a United Methodist clergy, pastor emeritus of the Buena Vista United Methodist Church, which is just down the street on Buena Vista Community Park and Oak. This is a mini teach-in, so I'm going to share a few things that will help lead into watching the film. First of all, how many of you knew that John Lewis was actually also a clergy? Yeah. In fact, he was a Baptist clergy, and he was schooled in the Southern Christian Leadership Conference with Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. When I came to Alameda in 1988, we had just passed something called the Civil Liberties Act. How many of you know what that is? Civil Liberties Act of 1988? Okay, only about a handful of you know what that is. That was the apology to Japanese Americans for the mass incarceration that took place in World War II. In this community, in the 5-block radius, just Park and Oak and up to about Santa Clara and down to Clement was a Japanese American community. That community was erased, basically. How many of you knew that? How many of you know that there's a walking tour in Alameda where you can see where that community used to be? You can go to boards that are there at our church, at the Buddhist Temple on Pacific, one at the Marketplace, and one at the Alameda Library. It's a 4-stop tour, and you can tour that and see where that community used to be here. But the Civil Liberties Act of 1988 restored some sense of dignity to what had taken place, and that's an important thing for local Alameda history to understand. For us, justice is indivisible, and so our church became a hub of organizing around anti-racism issues, around LGBTQ inclusiveness, both in the schools, the city council, around affordable housing, renters' rights as well. It's all based on the principle of indivisibility of justice. These are the principles that was there in the civil rights movement that John Lewis stood for. The indivisibility of justice, that we are all connected together in this web across the world and here domestically as well. Something important for us to remember around that. We also have been involved in a number of things internationally, including human rights in the Philippines as well as in Palestine. We have relationships with a village in the Bethlehem district of Palestine called Wadi Fuqim, and we have had a partnership with them, and they have wanted to do a sister city here in Alameda. In fact, we brought that in 2017, almost 8 years ago, but some people said, "You're causing trouble." Just like they said you're causing trouble when you're dealing with anti-racism. Just like they said you're causing trouble when you're dealing with affordable housing. Just like they said you're causing trouble when you're raising things around LGBTQ inclusiveness. And the life of John Lewis is very emblematic of that notion because he talks about good trouble because there's been no issue when you're seeking justice where other people accuse you of causing trouble. You hear what I'm saying? So this is why we are about causing good trouble for the times that we're living in, because we have to shake it up. We've got to shake up the trees. We've got to be out there and do what we're doing. Our sister city went to the city council in 2017. It got delayed because people were saying you're causing trouble. It went to the city council in March of this year, and there was like a stalemate on it because there were people saying you're causing trouble. We're not causing trouble. We're building beloved community. We're building bridges across the world with people so we can share our humanity together. That's what John Lewis was all about. John Lewis was about, you heard the phrase, building beloved community. That was an emblem of the civil rights movement. It wasn't just about dismantling the segregation or discriminatory laws. It was building beloved community. Can you say that together? Building beloved community. That's what we're about. That's what the organizers about here for Alameda. We want to build beloved community going forward. This is not just a one-off today, but there'll be many other events coming up. We're going to build beloved community for the sake of the humanity of all people here in Alameda, but all people around the world as well, because we're all interconnected. So let's get ready. Let's get ready to do some good trouble.
Thank you, Reverend Yoshi. And thank you all for your patience and engagement tonight. Seriously, it is moving. I've been doing this for years, decades, off and on, since I was a kid in college. It's really beyond moving for me to see what you can't see from here. It really is something. City Hall, it's amazing the work that folks are doing on behalf of our country. This is something else. Right now, I want to introduce you to a person who I admired. I'll tell you a little story afterward. But right now, it's time for our feature documentary, John Lewis, Good Trouble. Let me introduce you to Dr. Cindy Acker. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm really glad to be able to help wind up this day, although it doesn't wind up the work. I was just listening at the NAACP conference, which just ended this week, and it was themed The Fierce Urgency of Now. It signifies that there's no time for complacency. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "We are now faced with the fact that tomorrow is today." And that was in his time. So I would say that we are now faced with the fact that tomorrow is yesterday. The fierce urgency of now. King said, in this unfolding conundrum of life and history, there is such a thing as being late. And I think we've discovered that. This is no time now for apathy or complacency. This is a time for vigorous and positive action, right now. Good trouble. And John Lewis would say, Good trouble right now because the fierce urgency of now is where we live. He was tired of the segregation on buses, and John Lewis knew that there were black people who were going to the front of the bus, having to pay their fare, going to the back of the bus to be able to get on the bus only to discover that the bus driver took off, leaving them there after they had paid their fare. And in many cases, the bus driver would do that time and time and time again. And it had a profound effect on John Lewis. He said, "It gave me a way out to get in the way. It inspired me to figure out how to get in the way. There's something so deep inside of me," he said, "moving me, that I could no longer be satisfied and go along with an evil system that I had to be maladjusted to. It was an affront to our own dignity and our own worth." And at 23 years old, John Lewis was the youngest speaker for the March on Washington and spoke this call to action. He said, "To those who have said, 'Be patient and wait,' we cannot be patient. We do not want to wait on our freedom. We want our freedom now, not gradually." And he said, "I appeal to all of you to get this revolution that is sweeping the nation, to get it. Let's not forget that we're involved in a serious social revolution." And he lived a life of being in that revolution, despite the cost. He believed in a part of a movement that was designed to create a different society, a better society, where people were reconciled to each other. And that's why he was known as the conscience of Congress. Because he said, as you've probably heard all day today, when you see something that is not right, not just, not fair, say something. Do something. Make it be a fire burning in your bones. And if so, you cannot be silenced. Be a headlight, not a tail light. And John Lewis would say, because we see now that democracy is not guaranteed. Democracy is not a state, it's an act. And there is a time, and it's the urgency of now, where we must speak, we must act, and we must vote. We cannot sit by another day, another moment, and even think that we're not going to vote. Because democracy is at risk, and it's at stake. And the vote, John Lewis said, is the most powerful nonviolent instrument that we have in our democratic society. And John Lewis believed in, struggled for, and fought for just that. Get in. He said, get in and stay in the streets of every city, every village and hamlet in this nation until true freedom comes. We must get in this revolution and complete it. We will not stop. The time will come, he said, when we will not confine our marching to Washington. And I submit that today, in the spirit of John Lewis, we have marched today, but we will not confine our march to the streets of Alameda. Say march. March. We will not confine our march to the streets of San Francisco. March. We will not confine our march to the streets of Oakland. March. We will not confine our march to the streets of Berkeley. March. We will not confine our march to the streets of Selma. March. We will not confine our march to the streets of San Leandro. March. We will not confine our march to the streets of Los Angeles. March. We will not confine our march to the streets of New Orleans. March. We will not confine our march to the streets of Chicago. March. We will not confine our march to the streets of Kansas. March. We will not confine our march to the streets of Texas. March. We will not confine our march to the streets of Florida. March. And we will keep on speaking. And we will keep on marching. Because marching is good trouble. John Lewis said, tell the story, and tell the story again and again and again. And we have some stories to tell. We have some stories to tell about the fear of our immigrant families, of the worry that they hold because they're afraid to self-advocate lest they go to a rally and then be deported. We have stories of the worry of individuals who are wondering about what's going to happen to their health care. We have stories of LGBTQ, and let me say capital T for our young people, and families and friends. We know those stories, and we can't hide those stories as though they don't exist because real people's lives are at stake. But what John Lewis felt was that we need to be strategic, and with a spirit of activism, we need to engage in strategic protest. As John Lewis said, and seeing his life, he held a model of not giving up, not giving in, and not being violent. He said, "But we will march with the spirit of love and dignity, by the forces of our demands, by our determination, and by our numbers." And I submit that, as he said, with our continued work and with our continued commitment, we will splinter the areas of professed kingship. We will splinter the areas of discrimination. We will splinter the areas of segregation. We will splinter the areas of disenfranchisement. We will splinter the areas of unjust health care. We will splinter the areas of otherness. We will splinter the areas of mistreatment to our LGBTQ families and friends and our immigrant friends and family, and we will disrupt the status quo to challenge oppression and inequality. But we must be a people committed to put away our willingness to profit from the exploitation of others. And we must be a people, for those who are privileged, to recognize that privilege is not a pass. It's an obligation. It's a heavy-duty obligation to pay attention to the rights of others. And when it feels like we're caught, as we have been, and like there's no way, John Lewis said, when there's no way, make a way, create a way out of no way. So by our continued words and actions, we will not stop, because we will continue to march, we will continue to gather, we will continue to speak up, we will continue to speak out, and we will stand beside, behind, and before justice, and we will continue to vote. And as he modeled, we will not be silent, because we live in the fierce urgency of now. There are forces in America today that want to take us back, and we ain't going back. We're going forward. In his last words, John Lewis said, "May we walk with the wind, and let the spirit of peace and the power of everlasting love be your guide." So Alameda, in the words of John Lewis, we must say, wake up, America. Wake up, because we're gonna work some good trouble, some necessary trouble, some fierce urgency of now trouble. For we cannot stop, and we will not stop, and we cannot and we will not be patient. Thank you.
It's Dr. Cindy Acker. I want to thank the Alameda Theater, Kyle Connor and staff, Dakota, Evan, Cameron, and everyone else who helped make this possible. This is not free. This is part of what they do. They live here. They're committed here. They're part of this community. If you can, come join me for a bite afterward. Next door is Cinema Grill. Or get a thing of popcorn on your way out, or an extra drink, or sign up to see Superman. I haven't seen it yet, but I want to see it. You think I'm joking? My kids, they know so how outdated I am. But yeah, sign up to see a film here next. Yep. Support your local community institutions as well. League of Women Voters has led that fight for our voting rights, those electoral voting rights, for the franchise to vote. All Rise Alameda, knocking on doors, doing the postcards, doing the phone campaign to get people to vote. Those are local institutions. There are others that you're a part of. Alameda Backyard Growers, where are you? Still in the house? All right, so, I was supposed to turn the mic over to you, and I was like sitting here going, I know we're missing something, but I got thrown off. I'm gonna be honest. I got thrown off when the film wouldn't quit and I didn't have the mic going, and I missed you. A lot of you guys don't know, in my day job, in my spare time, in my day job, I run a tree planting nonprofit for climate. No, you guys stop. This is not about me. I'm just giving you a context. The same day that this organization, ABG, declared it was going to be an organization, there was these two women online on Nextdoor. It was some chat that was there, probably before Nextdoor. And I saw them online posting, hey, look at all these things in Alameda. We could pick the fruit, clean the trees. And I had the same idea. This was we had just moved to Shoreline Drive. So it was 2008. I think we had just moved to Alameda. I've been working here for 4 years at Chair and the Volta restaurant, sommelier. Some of you might remember me. But yeah, I was the guy that poured your wine and drank a lot of it too. So, not your wine, but their wine. It was good wine, it's Italian wine. That's another story. But I had the same idea, and I saw this happening in real time on this chalkboard. Don't you know, it becomes known as Alameda Backyard Growers. They are doing the same thing we're doing for climate. Why? Picking food and eating local instead of driving to the supermarket for that food reduces gas consumption and trips. That's for climate. They are doing with their Project Picked. Amy is here. I can't see, but Amy's here with her colleague as well. They're doing the work. You wonder why I point this out. It's not because it's tied to my organization. It's literally tied to this. My brother's keeper. Who in your community and what institutions, organizations, or other are actually helping others? They are picking your fruit from your backyards. Your backyards. People volunteer saying, I got these trees that, I don't take the fruit, please pick them. They organize and come pick them with their volunteers. And then they donate the food to Alameda Food Bank. Right? I heard you. That's awesome. She says. So, this is the work of the community. This is mutual aid. This is mutual assistance. In this time of crisis, we need to be our brother's keeper. We need to be our neighbor's keeper. We need to know the person next door, the person across the street. You heard Reverend Yoshi. You heard Reverend Yoshi talk about how the Japanese, one of the largest Japanese communities in the East Bay, if not the largest, right here in Alameda, people just sat by and watched their neighbor be taken away by the military. We're not going back. We're not going back, we're going forward. Embrace organizations like Alameda Backyard Growers. Get online, find out what they do, support Project Pick. If you have a fruit tree or fruit trees in your yard or your neighbor, you might want to invite them to check out Alameda Backyard Growers. Or if you're interested in doing work like that, please get connected with them. Nobody else gets plugged. Why? Because I overlooked you. I am sorry. That's one hell of a sorry. So thank you all for coming tonight. Please get engaged, get involved. If you want to work on the electoral side, check out the League of Women Voters Alameda online. If you want to get involved in what we're doing here, like this right now, you're inspired, plug in. See me personally, look me up online. I'm there. My phone number's online. It's a trick. Nobody ever calls if you put your number online. Surprise. It's truth. It's truth. Don't worry, I'll tell you many stories. Get connected. Join All Rise Alameda. They have a meeting this Sunday. Check out their website, All Rise Alameda. Thank you all for your time. Stay engaged. Stay together. We protect us. We are moving forward. We are not going back. Have a good evening.